Hey y'all, it's time to get my hand tools out of this travel chest and onto the French Cleat Wall by building these 3 different holders. The first holder we're going to tackle in this video is the magnetic chisel holder. I'm going to start by building a dovetail frame. Some people say that's overkill. I see that in a lot of these shop project videos where people say it doesn't need to look nice just because it's in the shop. But I like to use my shop projects to practice techniques and skills. You won't see me put a lot of effort into sanding or finishing, but I still want it to look nice. This design was inspired by Rob Cosman's build a little while back. For each of these holders, I want to use a different idea from a different YouTuber who inspires me. And Rob's channel is one I'm constantly referencing for hand tool tips. After the initial frame is test fit, I need to cut out a groove on the back for the backer board. I did this on the table saw for the first time, marking on the tape how far the blade cuts, then plunging in the piece where it needs to be cut out, and then I cleaned it up with hand planes and chisels. I then glued the frame together, and after checking for square, I glued in the backer board out of scrap plywood. All of these holders are going to be built out of scraps I have here in the shop. Once I cleaned up the frame, it was time to start on the actual tool holders. For the bottom of this holder, I want a little spacer to help visualize where the chisels are going to go since the magnets are hidden. So after drilling holes on the drill press and cutting out the waste on the bandsaw, I glued the holder spacer to the bottom of the frame. I had to mill down a piece of scrap walnut for the top section on the table saw in multiple passes. The thickness of this board is important because the chisels don't lay flat with the handle sticking out of the bottom some, so this board needs to be at least as thick as the gap in the handle to work well. After cutting it out, I hand planed it down to size and then marked out the spacing for the magnets. I drilled a hole the diameter of the magnet down until there was about 3/16 of an inch of material left. To test it, I held a magnet in and slowly tipped it all forward to see if the chisel held. You don't need this to be super strong. Matter of fact, you don't want it to be too strong as it'll make it difficult to remove. Just strong enough that the chisel won't fall on its own. This knot was considered a defect in the board, but we're going to make it an accent piece. After cutting the rest of the holes, I glued in the magnets, then glued on the holder to the frame. I don't know if it actually made a difference or not, but the magnets felt like one side was more magnetic than the other. So I played around with them to find the best side before gluing them in with super glue. One of the things I definitely have learned over the last year of projects is when using clamps on some of these finished pieces, always use cauls or other boards to help clamp them in. That way you don't mark up your projects here at the end. All the edges were chamfered, then I added a French cleat to the back. A few quick coats of water-based poly, and it was ready for the wall. It turned out great, and it has enough room to expand my collection and keep them there with easy access. Thanks for watching. If you want to see me build these other 2 holders, they'll be on my channel as well. If you enjoyed this, be sure and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next project. Thanks.